My adoptive sister falsely accused me of breaking her bracelet. To punish me, my own brother sent me to a lab as a live test subject. They ignored the 95% risk of the experiment and treated me, their blood sister, with cruel indifference. If the Xing family provides a suitable volunteer for the AI experiment, Roxana will be accepted into the lab. Your sacrifice is her compensation. But what they didn't know was that Roxana had secretly signed a consent form to have me fully transformed into a robot. In despair, I called our parents for help, but they just said, "Can you stop being so spoiled? It's just an experiment to help your sister. You'll be out in a few days." From the other end of the phone came a boutique clerk's cheerful voice. This Bulgari serpentine necklace would look stunning on Miss Roxana. Then, their joyful laughter echoed through the call. I froze, laughed at myself, and dialed the lab. Junior, go ahead and start the humanoid robot process. 3 months later, when they saw me again, I had become everything they wanted: obedient, emotionless. My face showed no expression. I no longer cared about their favoritism. Everyone was satisfied, until that consent form Roxana signed, agreeing to my full robotic transformation, appeared in front of them. That day, the cold, composed eldest brother and the careless, arrogant second brother both completely lost it. Chapter 1. The day I walked out of the lab happened to be my birthday, but no one remembered. They had promised me, if I agreed to the experiment, they'd celebrate my birthday and truly accept me. But when the day came, they were too busy handing flowers to Roxana and opening the car door for her. I was left in the corner, like a real robot. They had pampered Roxana for 18 years. Everyone called her the little princess of Jiangqing. And I was just the forgotten daughter they found after 18 years, always on the fringes. I should have known better than to hope for familial love that was never meant for me. But when I saw Alex, I still reached out to him mechanically. The memory chip in my brain reminded me he had promised me a birthday gift. Second brother, it's my birthday today. You promised me something. He blinked, then sneered. I was just saying that. You actually believed it? You really don't learn, do you? David, the eldest, frowned and pulled out a diamond bracelet. If she wants it, give it to her. It's nothing for our family. But Roxana cried out from the side. Big brother, you said you'd only celebrate my birthday. Seeing her upset, Alex snatched the bracelet and waved it in front of me. You want this? He curled his lip and looked at my wrist. You ever looked in the mirror? With hands that ugly, you think you can wear a bracelet? On my wrist was an ugly tattoo, like a black reptile curled around my skin. Alex said it was a protective symbol he had specially requested for me. He told me to tattoo it to stay safe. I had been so happy, enduring the pain to carve it into my body. But later, at a family banquet, he grabbed my arm and showed everyone the tattoo, laughing. This idiot doesn't even know Spanish. Look, she tattooed "She's Roxana's dog." Hilarious, right? That's when I realized it wasn't a charm. It was the phrase "Pura de Roxana." I wanted to get it removed, but he threatened me if I ever erased it, he'd never acknowledge me as his sister again. So I stayed silent, obedient, until he threw me into the lab, until Roxana secretly turned me into a machine. Now, with no expression on my face, I picked up a broken stone from the ground and started scraping at the tattoo. Robots don't need brothers. There was no point keeping that tattoo. The stone cut my wrist open, blood flowing freely. Alex's face twisted in shock. What are you doing? He grabbed my hand harshly. Did you forget what I said? If you remove that tattoo, you're not my sister anymore. I smiled. Perfect curve. Exactly as programmed. Second brother, you said it was ugly. I'm just cleaning it up. He hesitated, then threw the bracelet to the ground. Take it, freak. I ignored him. Stone, cut, bleed. David stood nearby, watching coldly, until my wrist was torn. No trace of the black letters left. Only then did he throw me a tissue. His voice was calm. Alex will never accept you. Good that you're finally seeing it. Roxana is our real sister. Even if our parents brought you back. For Alex and me, we only have one sister. You living in this house is already our compromise. Don't expect more. Understand? I stood up and crushed the bracelet and tissue under my foot. Understood. He smiled, satisfied. As long as you stay this obedient, We won't make things hard for you. He didn't know that this perfectly obedient sister was a robot who no longer felt anything. No matter how they humiliate me, I won't care anymore. Chapter 2. I used to be a world-class scientist. To search for my biological family, I returned to Country A under a hidden identity. But after my birth parents accepted me, I discovered they already had an adopted daughter they had spoiled for years, Roxana. My older brothers looked down on my humble background and lack of formal education. You didn't even graduate from primary school? How could we end up with such a dumb sister? If this gets out, the prestigious families of Jiangqing will laugh their heads off. I was about to explain that I had been selected at an early age for an elite international program, and since then, had been involved in classified scientific research, hence, the missing academic records. But before I could open my mouth, Roxana threw herself into Alex's arms, crying, "Second brother, now that you have a real sister, are you going to abandon me?" He immediately scoffed. "Don't be ridiculous. Alex, only have one sister, and that's Roxana." He tossed my file aside without a second glance. "A useless dropout like you could never be my sister." I got the message and kept quiet. No one in this family welcomed me, but after drifting alone for over a decade, I truly longed for a place to call home. At least when my parents first found me, they treated me well. My mother cried her eyes out hugging me. My father swore to make up for the 20 lost years. Only my two brothers, worried about Roxana's feelings, kept treating me coldly. Since childhood, I've been brilliant with numbers and unrelenting in research. I thought familial love was just another equation I could solve. I worked hard to win them over. I feared pain, but when Alex asked me to get that tattoo, I didn't even flinch. To prepare hangover soup for my father and brothers after their late-night social events, I burned my fingers so badly they blistered. But no matter how hard I tried, I could never compete with a single word from Roxana, who had been part of this family for over 20 years. Under her manipulations, their attitude toward me worsened by the day, until that one day, Roxana smashed the heirloom jade bracelet Mom had given her and began sobbing uncontrollably. "Sis, if you wanted it, I could have given it to you. I can give you anything. Why would you destroy it?" Then, just like that, my brothers threw me into the AI lab. When I came out, I was no longer human. Roxana had implanted a chip in my brain, turning me into a robot, programmed to obey only her. Like now, as she lounges lazily on the sofa. "Sis, would you bring me a basin of water to wash my feet?" Alex played games beside her, smirking. "You heard her. Move it. If you don't listen to Roxana, don't blame me for kicking you out." Roxana smiled mysteriously. "Don't worry, second brother. She's been fixed. She'll behave now. Watch this." I quietly brought her the basin and set it down before her. Alex looked surprised, then let out a mocking laugh. "Shameless. You'll do anything to stay in this house." "Huh?" Roxana giggled as she dipped her soft white feet into the water, then suddenly kicked the basin over. "It's too hot. You trying to scald me?" The steaming water splashed all over me. Roxana pouted, turned into a robot and still, she caught herself and stopped mid-sentence. Alex put down his controller and frowned. "Roxana, what did you just say? What robot?" Roxana rushed over with a sweet laugh. "I mean, she's dumber than a robot." "Of course." Her eyes gleamed with a wicked idea. "Actually, if we did turn her into a robot, maybe she'd be smarter." Alex glanced at her, his face darkening. "Roxana, she's still Mom and Dad's biological daughter. Play all you want, but don't go that far. Talking about turning her into a robot? Don't ever say that again. If David hears it, he'll tear into you." Roxana's expression soured, but she still clung to Alex with a sugary voice. "I'm just joking. With you and Big Brother loving me, I'm already happy. Why would I bother with her?" Alex patted her head. "My perfect little sister is the best. That idiot's not even worth your time." He threw his towel at me. "Wipe yourself off." Roxana suddenly flicked her foot and kicked the towel away. "Brother, that's your towel. I won't let you give it to that lowlife. Besides, the floor's wet." She smirked. "Sis, you're already soaked. Why don't you just roll around and dry the floor with your body?" Alex stood and checked the time. Do what Roxana says. I'm heading out. He gently tucked Roxana's hair behind her ear. I know you're upset, but for mom and dad's sake, don't go too far. You cannot actually turn her into a robot. Understood? I'm just looking out for you. Roxana nestled into his chest and smiled sweetly. I'll do whatever my brother says. I lay silently on the floor as water soaked through my skin, slipping into the fine circuits embedded in my body. Alex didn't know, the sister he trusted the most had already turned me into a robot. And robots that get waterlogged? They short-circuit and die. Chapter 3. Perhaps it was Alex's warning that pushed Roxana over the edge. She became even more unhinged at home. Sis, you were missing for so many years and didn't learn a damn thing. How did you survive? You didn't end up like one of those filthy hobos, digging through trash for food, did you? I accessed the robot's internal database and replied calmly. I cooked for myself. But my calm tone only enraged her further. Her expression twisted, and she slapped me hard across the face. Bitch! I'm your master. You should be saying you liked digging through trash. Got it? But she forgot, I'm a robot now. I replied coldly. Sorry. I don't understand your command. Her face darkened. She kicked me hard in the side. Robots are so stupid. Artificial intelligence? Please, more like artificial idiocy. The lab promised me real human-based models would be smarter, but you're just as dumb. Then she curled her lip into a sneer. Robot sister, go get your baby sister a glass of water and make it boiling, over 90 degrees. She grabbed my hand, pressing down. Say it. Say I like eating trash. I stared straight into her eyes. You like eating trash. Her face went stone cold. Then she poured the entire cup of scalding water onto my hand. The synthetic skin blistered and turned a bright, angry red. Say it! Say you like eating trash. If you don't, I'll boil you alive. She seemed to forget, I'm a robot. I curled my lips slightly. You like eating trash. She screamed and smashed the cup against my head, then grabbed a kettle of boiling water and poured it straight over me. Stupid bitch! Even as a robot you still dare to defy me? And right then, the door swung open. David walked in. He looked at the chaos in the room and frowned. Roxana, what are you doing? Why are you so angry? Roxana froze for a second, then instantly switched to a pitiful expression. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Big brother, she insulted me. I lost control. You know I have a temper. I didn't mean it. David looked at me, slumped on the ground. My skin burned and blistering. His expression soured. You burned her like this? Now we have to take her to the hospital. What a pain. I pressed my bleeding hands to the floor and stood up slowly. It's all right. Big brother, no need to go to the hospital. He scoffed in annoyance. Sophia, stop pretending. If you don't get treated and end up looking like a freak, it'll be a joke for the whole family. I was confused, but I'm a robot. I shouldn't need to go to a hospital. Before I could process the contradiction, water had already seeped deep into my circuits. Beep. I collapsed. A red light blinked on my forehead. System error. Immediate repair required. David's face changed. Sophia? He shook me, shouting my name. Sophia. Stop pretending. What system error? He roared in panic. Call an ambulance. Now. The surveillance footage paused. In Lab C, Sam turned to me. This is the video captured from our simulated robot surveillance. Want to keep watching? I sat calmly at the computer and tugged at my lips. Go ahead. This is our first clinical test of the humanoid robot. We need to log all the data carefully. Roxana had tried to join a lab project, ironically, one run by a student of my junior colleague. She brought my data to them and begged them to convert me into a robot. The researchers initially refused, but I gave the order to approve it. We secretly shipped a humanoid robot, identical to me, from Country C. If they were so heartless as to toss me into a high-risk experiment and abandon me, then I'd let them get what they wanted. I left that emotionless, soulless robot behind, and flew back to Country C that very night. From that day forward, Sophia would never again be part of that family. Back in the hospital, David was running through the corridor like a madman. He grabbed the doctor. Doctor, what's happening? My sister only got splashed with hot water. Why is she talking nonsense? The doctor looked at him like he was insane, but given David's status, he forced himself to explain, "Sir, if the robot malfunctions, you should contact the manufacturer. This is a hospital." David's face twisted. He grabbed the doctor's collar, shouting, "What the hell are you talking about? That's my sister, the young lady of our family. What a joke. When I was there, they couldn't wait to kick me out. Now that I'm gone, they call me family?" The doctor had had enough. He pushed aside my bangs and pointed to the red blinking light on my forehead. "Tell me, sir, what kind of person has a flashing LED on their forehead?" "She's a robot." "Got it? A robot. And we don't repair robots in this hospital." Chapter 4. The robotic voice echoed through the hospital corridor. "System error. Immediate repair required. System error. Immediate repair required." But David ignored it. Alex stepped forward and punched the doctor in the face, growling through gritted teeth. "She's been living with us every day. How the hell could she be a robot? If you don't fix her, your damn hospital is finished." The doctor wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and took 2 steps back with a bitter smile. "Gentlemen, my skills are limited. I truly can't treat her. Please, take a closer look and calm down." Then, without waiting for a response, he turned and fled down the hallway in panic. David collapsed to the ground. The usually composed expression on his face finally cracked. With a mechanical movement, he called his parents. "Dad. Mom, something's happened to Sophia. You need to come back now." Meanwhile, Alex pounded the wall in rage until his knuckles bled, but he didn't seem to notice. After a while, something dawned on him. He grabbed Roxana, who was trying to sneak away, and roared, "Roxana, was it you? Did you turn her into a robot? I warned you." David wobbled to his feet, disbelief flickering in his eyes. "Alex, what did you say?" He turned to look at Roxana, who was now trembling. "You turned your sister into a robot?" His face darkened. He slapped her, hard. Her cheek instantly turned red. Roxana clutched her face and started crying. "I didn't. I was just talking nonsense." In a panic, she grabbed David's hand. "Big brother, you have to believe me. It wasn't me. Maybe the experiment went wrong. You know how risky it was. Anything could have happened." Alex's anger subsided a little upon hearing that. He took a deep breath and pulled Roxana into his arms. "Big bro, calm down. We don't know the full truth yet. Don't break Roxana's heart." David looked at him coldly and shoved Roxana's hand away. "Idiot." He gave a bitter, self-mocking smile. "I'm an idiot too." Then he straightened and looked down at Roxana, his eyes freezing cold. "We'll find out the truth soon enough. If it really was you, not even Alex can save you." Chapter 5. 3 days later, a robot conversion consent form was placed on David's desk. The head bodyguard in black bowed respectfully. "Young master." This was retrieved directly from Miss Roxana's lab. David picked up the thin sheet of paper and scanned it. "I, the undersigned, apply to convert Sophia into a humanoid robot. Both I and Sophia are fully aware of all consequences and have no objections. Applicant, Roxana." David let out a quiet, bitter laugh. Then he crumpled the paper tightly in his fist. With one sweeping motion, he knocked everything off the desk, screaming, "Get out, all of you!" He leaned over the desk, trembling, and slowly slid to the floor, staring at the lifeless robotic body in the corner. David let a tear fall. "Sophia. I'm sorry, your brother failed you." The door opened. Their father entered, followed by their mother, her eyes swollen from crying. In just a few days, both looked like they'd aged 10 years, hair white, backs stooped. Their mother picked up the crumpled consent form on the floor. After just a glance, she broke down sobbing. "This is karma. We raised someone else's daughter for years, only for her to betray us and harm our real child." Their father's hands trembled as he slapped David with all his strength. "You still have the nerve to cry in front of your sister? If you don't bring her back, do you want to see your mother and me dead?" His voice cracked. "Expel Roxana from the Xing family. I never want to see her again. Not in this lifetime." "Yes, sir." David staggered to his feet and walked out. At the villa entrance, Alex tossed a suitcase out the door, his eyes cold. "Go. Mom and Dad don't want to see you again. Neither do I or David." Roxana fell to her knees, begging, "Second brother, I didn't know things would turn out like this. I didn't mean to hurt her, I didn't. I swear." She clung to his pant leg in panic. "Besides, didn't you hate her too? I just wanted her to behave. I never meant for this to happen." Alex scoffed. He crouched down and stared straight at her. "You didn't know?" He unlocked his phone. "Your signed consent form is sitting on David's desk. The undersigned, apply to convert Sophia into a humanoid robot. You're saying you didn't know?" Roxana collapsed, speechless. Alex's voice shook with pain. "Back then, you told me it was a harmless little experiment. You said a 90% risk was normal. You said it wouldn't affect her at all. And now? Sophia is still my sister. She's our parents' real daughter. You made me lie to everyone for you. Did you ever think about how that made me feel?" A bitter sadness filled his eyes. "Roxana, all these years, I treated you like my real sister. I truly loved you as family. And this is how you repay me?" He kicked her to the side. "Get out of my sight. If you cling to me again, don't blame me for forgetting all the past we shared." Chapter 6. David carried me from lab to lab, desperately seeking help. And soon, the news leaked. My true identity was exposed to the public. The media in Country A jumped at the story, plastering it all over the headlines. "Wealthy family lets ignorant adopted daughter kill scientist's real child, worse than beasts." "Top scientist crosses oceans in search of her roots, ends up turned into a robot." The public outcry grew louder by the day. People from all walks of life demanded Roxana be prosecuted. The entire family became the target of society's disgust. In just days, the family business's stock plummeted. Bankruptcy was imminent. My parents were hospitalized under the weight of it all. Roxana's new residence was doxxed. Every day, people showed up to throw paint on her door. Wherever she went, people recognized her. Faces twisted in contempt. Insults shouted in the streets. Unable to bear the pressure, she shamelessly came crawling back home. But this time, she wasn't the pampered princess anymore. She wasn't even allowed past the gates of the villa. So she snuck into David's company instead. "Big brother, I'm begging you, please give me some money. I can't stay here anymore. I need to leave the country. I swear I'll never show my face again." David was holding my cold robotic body. His voice was flat. "Don't bother Sophia. Security, get this woman out of here." Alex pushed the door open. He looked down at Roxana, who was kneeling on the floor, face full of loathing. "Haven't you had enough?" But Roxana clung to his legs like a drowning person to driftwood. "Second brother, please, just a little money. We've been siblings for over 10 years. Are you really going to let me die? I know you don't acknowledge me anymore, but to me, you'll always be my brother." Tears streamed down her face. "I only did it because I didn't want anyone else to take you away from me." Alex sneered. "Can't believe I never realized you're just a parasitic leech." He cursed, pulled out a card, and tossed it on the floor. "Take it and get lost. If I ever see you again, don't blame me if the guards break your legs." Roxana wept with gratitude as she backed away and left. David and Alex continued talking. "Big brother, there's news. Country C might have a solution. Is that true?" David stood up in a rush, bloodshot eyes gleaming with hope. They didn't notice Roxana hadn't left. She was eavesdropping at the door. That night, she snuck back into David's office. In the chaos of recent days, David had forgotten to revoke her company access. Roxana grabbed a pair of scissors and stabbed me again and again. Synthetic blood poured all over the floor. "You want to turn her human again? Let's see how they love a pile of junk." She cursed like a madwoman and tried to lift me, aiming to throw me out the window. But the robotic body was heavy and rigid. In her struggle, she shattered a priceless antique vase. The alarm blared. David and Alex burst through the door. Roxana froze, dropping me to the floor with a thud. Alex, enraged, kicked her in the stomach. "How could you be so vile? I must have been blind to trust you." She coughed up blood but smiled wickedly. "What's so great about her? Half dead and people still worship her. Why won't she just die?" Roxana shrieked in madness. "I'm your real sister. If she's gone, I'm all you've got. You." Alex lunged again, ready to kick her, but David stopped him. "I've already called the police. Let them deal with her." Alex clenched his fists. Big brother. That's too easy. She tried to kill Sophia. He lifted me into his arms. Let's get to Country C first and save Sophia. We'll deal with her when we return. Chapter 7. David reached out to Sam's lab. Sam and I had worked together in the field of AI. Our research was recognized worldwide. It was no surprise David sought him out to repair the robot. I had instructed Sam to refuse, but David kneeled outside the lab and refused to leave. Sir, I beg you, please save my sister. You're a leading expert in AI. If you won't help her, she doesn't stand a chance. David, who had always carried himself with cold arrogance, was now kneeling humbly, utterly desperate. Even Alex lowered his head. I know your lab needs volunteers. As long as you can bring my sister back, I'm willing to volunteer permanently and have our company donate money to your lab every year. Sam sneered. Do you think I'm one of you heartless scumbags? You sent your own sister into human experimentation against her will. Disgusting. Someone as filthy as you isn't worthy of joining our research team. I suggest you leave now. I won't agree to anything. But David didn't care. He ran straight into the lab. Professors, please. I'm begging you to save my sister. He froze mid-sentence. He saw me sitting at a computer inside the lab. Our eyes met. His lips trembled. Sophia, you're alive? Am I dreaming? I curled my lips into a smile. Your precious sister Sophia died a long time ago. What stands before you now is Dr. Sophia from Country C. His eyes turned red as he took a shaky step back. No. I know it's you, Sophia. Why didn't you come home? Are you punishing us? He let out a painful, broken cry. We know we were wrong. Alex, hearing the commotion, rushed in after him. When he saw me, his eyes immediately filled with tears. Sophia, you're okay. That's amazing. You have no idea how guilty I've felt. Please. Come home. Mom and Dad miss you so much. Ever since you've been gone, everyone says we killed a national scientist. The family's reputation is falling apart. You have to come back and clear our names. I cut him off coldly. Why should I? He froze. Because, your family. Alex, weren't you the one who said someone who never even finished primary school had no place in the Shing family? That someone who couldn't even read Spanish didn't deserve to be your sister? And you, David, you said you'd only ever have one sister in this life, Roxana. So what's this performance now? David trembled, trying to explain. We were wrong. Sophia, Roxana tricked us. Please, forgive us. Alex added quickly. Yes, it was all our fault. But our parents never hurt you. Can't you pity them a little and come home? Never hurt me? I scoffed. When I was dragged into that lab, when Roxana signed that consent form, who stood up for me? I held out my wrist. Alex, do you remember the tattoo here? Do you know how many needles it took to mark that sentence into my skin? 24 silver needles, thousands of stabs. And when I returned to this country, I endured 10 times that pain just to have it removed. I gave a bitter smile. I once cherished our bond, but you. Sophia died. She died at your hands. He stood there frozen, like someone had struck him with a hammer. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. He dropped to his knees before me, eyes red. Sophia, what can I do to make it right? I'll do anything, even if you want me dead. No need, because I will never forgive you, any of you. I stood up and walked out of the lab. Chapter 8. That day, every tattoo artist in capital city of Country C received the same big request. A young heir from Country A wanted his entire body covered in the name of a woman. Tattoo artists were stunned. Some even posted about it online. Haven't seen a rich guy this hopelessly devoted in a long time. Sophia, please forgive him. Devoted? I scoffed and closed the tab. Did Alex think this would undo the damage he caused me? He was sorely mistaken. I gave no response. Eventually, Alex couldn't hold back and came to the lab again. Sophia. I'm sorry. Only now do I understand how much you must have suffered. Outside the research building, he clutched my hand, begging for forgiveness. I only shook him off coldly, and threw his own words back at him. Have you looked in the mirror lately? Don't you find yourself disgusting? I don't have such an ugly brother. He stood there stunned, letting out a bitter laugh. I get it. Sophia, I was truly wrong. He muttered to himself and walked away. Shoulders slumped. All around, students pointed and whispered, "What's up with that guy? His face is covered in tattoos. Weird. Stay away from him." David also sent me a message, a form to volunteer for AI experiments and a body donation form. "Sophia, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just want to atone. If you can, will you at least visit Mom and Dad? Mom's in the ICU, they did truly care about you once." I sat blankly at my desk, thinking for a long time. Since childhood, I had always been the loneliest one. No family, no love, while others reunited with friends and relatives. I buried myself in books and work. Later, I met Sam, my best friend. It was he who helped me find my biological parents. The day I met them, I was genuinely happy. I'd always been alone, emotionally clueless. But when my mother hugged me, calling me daughter through tears, my heart trembled. I wanted to try to see if I could live like a normal person, so I hid my identity as a scientist, wanting only to be a regular daughter in a family. But it all turned out wrong. April had passed. The cherry blossoms outside the lab fell like rain. The family love I had yearned for with all my heart had withered like those petals. Sam walked over, placing a hand gently on my shoulder. "If you want to go back, go. It's not weakness, it's closure." He paused, then added, "Don't worry about safety. I've arranged bodyguards and mercenaries in Country A. This time, no one will hurt you." I went back after all. At the hospital, my mother held my hand, oxygen mask on her face. She couldn't speak a word. I said nothing either. Tears slid from her eyes, and then, she passed. Maybe it was grief for missing from my life, or for the neglect, or regret. I didn't dwell on it. The day I left Country A, Alex posted bail for Roxana. I thought he still couldn't let go of the years they'd shared as siblings. But as my plane landed, a headline flashed across the screen. "Heir of Country A's elite family. Alex brutally kills former adopted sister Roxana with a tattoo gun, then takes his own life. So he'd bailed her out to take revenge." I stared at the bold black headline, my feelings a mix of sorrow and numbness. Later I heard, my father, unable to bear the blow, followed my mother soon after. David lost his mind, was admitted to a government psychiatric facility, and later vanished. Some said he became a vagrant. Others claimed he died and donated his body to a university. I never followed up. 10 years later, Sam and I made a historic breakthrough in AI technology. Together, we stood on a world stage. Chapter 9, David, Extra Storyline. Years later, whenever David sat inside Lawrence's lab, he would always think back to that rainy afternoon, the day they brought Sophia home. She had stood alone at their doorstep, thin and frail, dragging a single suitcase behind her. The rain had poured heavily. She was soaked from head to toe, looking just like a helpless little white puppy, staring at them with wide, lost eyes. But neither he nor Alex had stepped forward like true brothers to shield her or show her any care. He had simply stood coldly on the porch, watching as Alex and Roxana mocked her relentlessly. They smashed her suitcase and ridiculed her ignorance. They said she was an illiterate fool who hadn't even finished primary school, a disgrace to the family name. David hadn't said a word. He just stood there under the eaves, watching raindrops mix with the tears on Sophia's face. That scene became a nightmare that haunted him ever since. He often wondered if he had stopped Alex and Roxana that day, if he had stood up for Sophia, would everything have turned out differently? He regretted it deeply. Sophia had gone missing when she was only 3. She remembered nothing. But he remembered. He remembered that little girl who used to follow behind him, calling brother, brother in her soft voice. He remembered how Alex went mad after Sophia disappeared, refusing to eat or drink and crying for his sister. Their parents, at a loss, eventually adopted a girl from the orphanage who looked a lot like Sophia. That was Roxana. But Roxana was nothing like the real Sophia. Sophia used to just watch him with big, quiet eyes. She rarely spoke. Roxana, on the other hand, clung to everyone around her with cheerful warmth. With her enthusiasm, she stitched shut the wounds that Sophia's loss had left in the family. David was grateful to her for that, grateful and protective. He could see how fragile Roxana was inside, how scared she was of losing the family she had just found. So when Sophia returned home, He gave Roxana everything, defended her endlessly. He forgot that Sophia had also grown up in an orphanage. She also needed love. She also needed someone to protect her. When had he stopped seeing Sophia and let Roxana take her place in his heart? He couldn't remember. After Alex's death, those memories stabbed into him again and again like sharp blades. Whenever he drove, he saw Sophia's face, sometimes as a little girl, smiling sweetly, sometimes as a grown woman, looking at him with hatred and pain. He even saw Alex, whispering to him, "Brother, we're all sinners. I've already atoned." One day, he pressed hard on the gas and drove straight into a lake. The doctors said he had schizophrenia. He escaped the mental hospital over and over, only to be caught and returned again, until one night, drunk on a street corner, he met Lawrence. Lawrence was a mad scientist. He said he had been watching David for a long time. He said he had a great experiment to conduct, and David had to help. David scoffed at first, until Lawrence leaned in with a gleam in his eye and said, "Haven't you always wanted to atone to your sister? I can help you." It turned out Lawrence also wanted to experiment on human-to-robot transformation. But after Sophia's case was exposed, that kind of research had been banned globally. David agreed, on one condition: if the experiments succeeded, the robotic version of David would be donated to Sophia's lab in Country C. He just wanted to stay by the one person he owed the most. The experiment failed. He became a half-dead, half-human, half-machine monstrosity. His ruined body was sealed away in ice. Deep in Lawrence's lab, his consciousness was decoded into flickering waves of data, forever trapped inside an electronic chip. And then the nightmares returned. He heard Alex's whisper again, "Brother, we're all sinners."